CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
From Heinz Field in downtown Pittsburgh, it's the National Football League on CBS Week 5. Today's game features the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a look at the AFC North. Pittsburgh with the top spot, but Cleveland can gain some ground with the win today. And the faces have changed, but the rivalry and hatred is still there. Coming up, CBS goes old school. It's Cleveland and Pittsburgh next. Great football weather, 53 degrees and cloudy at kickoff time. Steelers won the toss. They will receive Butch Davis, the head coach of the Browns, winning 17-13 last week against Washington. The dean of coaches in the NFL, Bill Cowher's team, 3-1 with a nice 28-17 win over Cincinnati last week right here. This is the 103rd regular season meeting between these two teams. Cleveland holding the series lead, but the Steelers have been successful as of late, winning 6 of the last 7. Phil Dawson ready to send it away. And back deep, Antoine Randall, number 82 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. These two teams split the season series last year, each team winning on the road. And instead of Randall, it's Cloflaw, and he bounces it down the sideline, out of bounds. What a terrific return. Coakley, Ricardo Coakley down the sideline, deep into Cleveland territory. A 47-yard return. So let's take a look at the starting lineups. Ben Roethlisberger last week, 17 of 25, 174 yards for the Steelers, a touchdown, no picks. And a look at his offensive line. Faneca is the Pro Bowler, Smith, Hardings, Vincent, and Ross. Backs and receivers, Deuce Staley had an infection on his toe. They removed the nail, but that limited his practice ability. But he is in the lineup today. Staley lines up in the backfield, offset eye. Kreider now lines up on the end. Kreider in motion. Here's Deuce Staley. And Deuce gets it to the Browns' 37-yard line. It's a pickup of 5 defensively for the Cleveland Browns. Lang has 4 sacks, leads the team. Roy Myers and Ekuban up front. The linebackers, Andre Davis in the middle with Thompson and Holdman on the outside. And in the secondary, Robert Griffith leads the team in tackles. Little, the other safety, Henry and McCutcheon are the corners. Second down and 5 at the 36. Here's Roethlisberger to the sideline. Plexico Burress with the grab, gets out of bounds at the 25. It's a gain of 11. So as a fan, what should we pay attention to early on?
Well, it's going to be up to the Cleveland defense to put pressure on Roethlisberger. He seems to be the weak link. With Deuce Staley back there running the way he is, it's up to them to stop this offense on the ground and force a young quarterback to beat this solid Cleveland defense.
So after the big return by Coakley, the Steelers have it 1st and 10 at the 25. Out of the I formation. Staley. Deuce is really rolling. Bounces it down. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. 25 yards. Set up by Ricardo Coakley's 47-yard return. And that is the longest run allowed by a running back versus the Browns defense this season. Previously, it was 11.
And that's one thing you want to do as a team, Gus. You want to come out early in the game and take something away that your opponent's counting on. Cleveland relies on their run defense. They got hit right in the teeth on the third play from scrimmage.
So Deuce Staley gets his first rushing touchdown of the year, and Pittsburgh jumps on top 7-6. Deuce Staley with a big touchdown as the Steelers go on top 7-0. 3 plays, 41 yards, set up by that Ricardo Colclough 48-yard kickoff return. And Staley has his first rushing touchdown of the year. So Jeff Reed will send it away deep round, and Andre King back deep for Cleveland. And this will be deep round from the 15. And Brown gets up to the 30-yard line, a 15-yard return. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
Well, what happens, this is what starts out as a good play for the Steelers, turns into a great play as you'll watch. Number 20 will come from the left of your screen right there, bang, and he misses the tackle in the hole. What would have been just a good play for the Steelers turns into a great play and a touchdown. Great defenses have one thing in common, Gus, they tackle well. When you miss tackles, you're in for a long afternoon.
Earl Little just run over by Deuce Staley. So here we go for Cleveland. First down and 10 at the 29. Browns on offense for the first time. William Green, the single setback. Green over the left side, not a lot of room, and he may have gotten a yard on the play. Jeff Garcia, three-time Pro Bowler, coming over from San Francisco. Last week, 14 of 21, 195 yards, a touchdown, no picks against Washington. A look at the offensive line. Verba, the left tackle, Zukowskis, Fain, Garman, and Gonzalez. Backs and receivers, William Green will split time with Lee Suggs. Green, the former first-round pick out of Boston College. Second down and 8 at the 31. Garcia, short drop, underneath, incomplete. Closest man to the football, Andre Davis. But James Ferrier and Clark Higgins were there. Defensively for the Steelers, let's take a look. Smith, a good pass rushing defensive end. Hampton and Von Oelhoffen. The linebackers, Clark Higgins having a sweet season. Ferrier, Foot, and Porter. And in the secondary, Troy Polamalu. What a return last week against Cincinnati. 26-yard touchdown on an interception, and it was spectacular. Third down and 8 at the 31. Browns need to go to the 39 for a first down. Garcia in trouble. Fires incomplete. Steelers on the blitz, and they will force the Browns to punt it away.
Here watches Jeff Garcia. He does a nice job of just staying alive. You can see the pressure in his face. In a lot of teams, this is a sack. Garcia knows he's got to get rid of the football, and that's a good quarter. The guy's been to the Pro Bowl 3 times. Just get rid of it, punt it away, and regather yourself on the sidelines.
Antoine Randall back deep. Derek Frost, who leads the NFL with a 40.8 net average, finds Antoine Randall at the 15, and Antoine Randall goes down at the 17-yard line. A 53-yard punt, a 2-yard return. Chris Crocker with the tackle on special teams. Pittsburgh and Deuce back again after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Red Lobster. Don't miss endless shrimp going on now only at Red Lobster. And by Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. Just what I needed.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
We're also watching Deuce Staley go after his third consecutive 100-yard game. Here's Deuce now running straight up the middle, and this time he goes down at the 23. Robert Griffith with the tackle after a 3-yard gain.
And you want to know what happened on that first drive. 3 plays, 42 yards rushing for Deuce Staley. You know in the second drive they're going to hand it to him again. Cleveland has got to tighten up in its run defense, something they've been able to do through most of the season. But Pittsburgh is not just your everyday run-of-the-mill football team. They're a team that is steep and has a deep history of running the football. And Deuce Staley is the guy they want to give it to.
Empty backfield now. Staley lines up in the slot at the top of your screen. And a whistle.
False start, 79 offense, 5 yards, it's still second down.
That's the right tackle, Oliver Ross.
He twitched down inside, and the official, they weren't even close to snapping. That's just a guy that got caught a little bit. You hate those penalties that come that are non-aggressive. Nothing's even going on in the field, and you can't get lined up and get the playoff. Those are the kind that make Bill Cowher wish he was an accountant.
2nd and 12 at the 17. Empty backfield for Ben Roethlisberger. Underneath that ball, picked off. Touchdown Cleveland, Chris Crocker. And the Browns are right back in it.
The Steelers told us they wanted to get Randall L. some more touches on the football. They went empty, throwing it on 2nd and long. They tried to get the ball to Randall L., and it went right through his hands. Ben Roethlisberger made a nice throw, went to the right guy, and it just popped right out of his receiver's hands, right into the hands
of Chris Crocker. First career interception for Chris Crocker, the second-year man out of Marshall. Extra point is up and good. So some early fireworks by the Browns and Steelers. This 20-yard interception returned for a touchdown by Crocker, and we are tied at 7. No rest for young Chris Crocker as he scores on an interception return for a touchdown, his first career interception.
You talk about defense, and defense in the NFL, Gus, has become about 2 things: getting after the passer and getting turnovers. And the Steelers are 3rd in the NFL with 11 takeaways at this early point in the season. They do it well, but they got stung by the Browns.
Browns send it away. Randall L. from the 10-yard line. Antoine gets all the way up to the 30 before being wrestled down. It's a 21-yard return, so the rookie quarterback on paper made a mistake. It wasn't his fault, and he'll regroup his troops right now.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hertz. It's your trip. Rent wisely. And by the U.S. Postal Service. With more new ways to use us than ever before, the U.S. Postal Service is working for you.
Young Chris Crocker from Chesapeake, Virginia, with his first career interception. He also returned it for a touchdown. He was a track man at Marshall, as the Browns, prior to that touchdown, had scored only 3 points in the first quarter the entire season. And that was a field goal last week against Washington. 1st and 10 at the 30. Here's the pitch. Deuce bottled up and taken down. He'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Tackled by Sean Thompson.
You looked a moment ago at Ben Roethlisberger. He's going to come back, and you'll watch as he finds his receiver. It's an empty backfield. You know he's got to throw the football. He picks the right guy, Randall L., inside receiver, and he just goes right through his hands. I think the play was also helped, obviously, there by Kevin Bentley, who the guy, L, was trying to catch the ball and spin away from Bentley, and he didn't have time to do that.
2nd down and 10. And some movement on the offensive line. This may go against Alvin McKinley for Cleveland. Looks like he got a quick jump.
Encroachment, 97 of the defense, 5 yards. Repeat second down. It's still second down.
Right in the middle of the screen. You can't miss it.
Jerry Austin is our referee for this afternoon's game. Game tied at 7. Pittsburgh and Cleveland from Heinz Field. 2nd and 5 at the 35. Deuce Staley, 4 carries, 33 yards, and a touchdown already. Here's Deuce straight ahead. Breaks it back, and Staley gets to the 38. Time now to check in with Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Gus, we'll take you to Indianapolis. Peyton Manning on 3rd and goal to James Mungro, makes the catch, rolls into the end zone, and the Colts have a 7-0 lead on the Oakland Raiders. Gus and Steve, back to you.
All right, Indianapolis playing some great football as you take a look at the South ever since losing their opener to the New England Patriots.
Interesting. Indianapolis with a very slick offense, and Jacksonville right behind them with the big stout defense.
3rd down and 1 at the 39. Staley again lowers his shoulder, and Deuce Staley powers for 4 yards and picks up the 1st down. Kevin Bentley with the tackle.
The Steelers, I think one of the reasons the Steelers are so difficult to defend is they do a lot of things in their run game. A moment ago it was Deuce Staley by himself in the backfield. Now they bring in the big fullback, and he leads them up through the hole. And they're so flexible in what they can do offensively in their run game. The defense has a hard time, and there's, you see the big guy.
Dan Kreider.
He's the fullback.
And he has been paving a way for Deuce. Here's Roethlisberger rolling. In trouble, breaks a tackle down the sideline. Burris lays out and makes the catch at the 10. 48 yards. And Big Ben gets up slowly.
This is Plexico Burris. He knows how long the route should take. He stops, sees Roethlisberger out of the pocket, and then breaks deep. And that's nothing but just feeling your quarterback. He knows Roethlisberger's got the arm to get there, and watch the hit. Woo, that hurts.
Ebenezer Ekubon drilling Ben.
It took Ben Roethlisberger a moment to get up. He had to gather himself and do the mental inventory of the body parts, but he came up and got his guys in the huddle, and here he is.
1st down and goal at the 9-yard line for the Steelers. Out of the eye, here's Deuce Staley. And Staley gets to the 5.
You talk about, Ben Roethlisberger taking that hit. He's out there because Tommy Maddox isn't. And earlier in the season, there's Tommy Maddox on the sidelines, and this is what happened to Tommy Maddox, and the reason the Steelers got a chance to use their #1 draft pick right there. And when a quarterback's in that throwing motion, if anything whacks that arm, it hurts, and that's why that guy, Tommy Maddox, is not playing today. And I don't think the Steelers fans are that upset about it. None of the 3-1 record the Steelers have now.
2nd and goal at the 6. Roethlisberger steps up in the pocket. He's got a roll. Dives. Touchdown. The young fella with a lot of heart. And the Steelers get in the end zone again on the 6-yard scramble.
Pittsburgh loves a tough quarterback. And Roethlisberger got hit in the mouth 2 plays ago, scraped himself up off the deck, climbed to his feet, and comes in and busts in 2 plays later for a touchdown. And these fans, you can tell it's a big, lusty cheer for a quarterback who busts his way into the end zone.
So the Steelers go 6 plays, 70 yards, extra point up, and good. They hold it for close to 4 minutes. Ben Roethlisberger, he's from Findlay, Ohio, but not caring about the Browns right now. Ben Roethlisberger leading the Steelers down the field, connecting with Plexico Burris on a 48-yard reception, then scrambling 6 yards for a touchdown.
And you can see there going over the film. This is a guy that did it all on that last drive. Had the broken play, scrambled, bought some time, hit the big play to Plexico Burris down the sidelines, and then busted it into the end zone. That's exactly the kind of thing they want this young quarterback to do.
Jeff Reed kicks it away. And this will be D. Brown from the 6. And he's clotheslined and taken down at the 22. 17-yard return, but Veron Haynes just brought him down.
Yeah, this is tough. I remember I used to do this, Gus, and that hurts. He starts to try and cut, and the guy catches you right there. That's like sticking your arm out of the car going down the road and hitting a telephone pole. I mean, that's what it feels like.
Looks like Dick Night Train Lane, the former Lion, years ago. 1st down and 10 at the 22. Here's William Green, bounces it outside with running room, and Green picks up the first down. Gain of 11 to Shea Townsend. Ushers him out of bounds.
You see here, this is what Cleveland's got to get done. They got the 31st offense in the league going against the 5th-ranked defense. Cleveland has got to stay on the field. Don't think about scoring points. Just stay on the field, make some first downs. You got to keep the Steelers off the field at this point. They've got 2 quick scores. You've got to make some first downs and keep Butch Davis's defense off the field.
First down and 10 at the 33. William Green remains in the game. Garcia steps up in the pocket. Scrambling. He's got a receiver. It's caught. Aaron Shea with the reception at the 30-yard line. And that is vintage Jeff Garcia.
And Jeff Garcia, if you watch this, he gets past the line of scrimmage when he throws this. The Steeler defense is hot. Watch as he moves up the field. He's past the line of scrimmage when he lets it go. But what a great look down the football field to Shea. And that's why Jeff Garcia has been to the Pro Bowl. The guy stays alive, and he doesn't look at the rush. He looks at his receivers and the defense.
Pittsburgh challenging the call on the field as to whether or not the passer was across the line when he threw the ball.
Now, here's the thing. He has to be completely over the line.
The 33-yard line is the line of scrimmage.
And this is the line. Look, right, he has to be completely over, and I think he's over the line right there. When that ball's out of his hand, he's past the line of scrimmage.
So they'll sort it out. 6:44 to go here. 14-7 Pittsburgh.
This is one of the plays in the NFL where you really need instant replay. Jeff Garcia has to be completely over the 33-yard line when he lets this go. Watch, is the ball out of his hand when he's over the line? You see there, he's up in the air, and there's the line.
The call on the field stands. The passer must have his entire body and the ball over the line for it to be a foul. His back foot is at the 33-yard line, which was the line of scrimmage. Pittsburgh is charged with a first timeout.
That means his hand, his foot, his body, everything has to be over the line when it is. And you look there, and it got to be his right heel still back at the 33-yard line.
So the Browns catch a break. Pittsburgh is charged with the timeout. It's a 35-yard reception by Aaron Shea. First and 10 at the 32. Garcia on the bootleg, fires, and it's caught by Terrell Smith, the fullback. New England going for a record today. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
You're right, Gus. They're looking for number 19 in a row. They're off to a good start after an interception of Jay Fiedler. Tom Brady scrambled, finds Daniel Graham for the 1-yard touchdown pass, and the Patriots have a 7-0 lead. Forget that flag. The touchdown was good.
It's been an awful season for the Miami Dolphins, 0-4.
And Buffalo and Miami play next week head-to-head, and it could be 2 0-4 teams. I don't think that's ever happened in that series.
Second down and 7 at the 29. Shea in motion. Garcia on the move. Steps up over the middle. Ball caught. Andre Davis gets down to the 11. Chris Hope, the safety, with the tackle. It's a gain of 18 yards.
And as much as we talked about the Cleveland Browns wanting to run the football, right now they're having the most success with Jeff Garcia running around, finding open receivers. Andre Davis there finds the opening, sits down. Garcia can find. That's what that quarterback does best, Gus. He can move and throw on the run and throw accurately. You got to let him do what he does best.
First down and 10 at the 12-yard line. Lee Suggs checks in the game. They give it to the big fella. He breaks it back and nowhere to go. Larry Foote makes the tackle. He's the replacement for Kendrell Bell, who's been out with the groin injury.
You know, Gus, you get into these games, you come in, if you're the Cleveland Browns, you got Lee Suggs healthy again. You've got William Green in there healthy again. You want to run the football. You want to get this identity of being this power team. But let me tell you something. If you're not having success and you've got a team you can't run on, let Jeff Garcia do what he does best. Forget your game plan. You're down 2 touchdowns early. Let him throw it around and make some plays.
Second down and 10 at the 12. Here's Garcia again. Garcia rolling. Throws incomplete. Troy Polamalu with pressure, and Jeff Garcia wanted a flag. Troy roughed him up at the end of the play.
And Garcia chased Jerry Austin down. Said, listen, what's the deal? He's not happy. He let this ball go out of the pocket. Watch this. And that's Palomalu, and he ends up pushing Garcia all the way down. Garcia takes a divot out of the turf with his face. He's not happy about it.
Brings up 3rd down and 10 at the 12-yard line. 7th play of the drive for the Browns. And Garcia calls timeout. (14-7) Pittsburgh. But the Browns are knocking on the door. 14-7. Pittsburgh with the lead over Cleveland. 4:30 to go in the first quarter. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker.
And this has been the best drive for Butch Davis's offense thus far today. In fact, it's been one of the best drives of the season for them, particularly at this point of the game. They have really, to put it bluntly, they've stunk it up in the first quarter of most of the games they've played this year. They have scored 1 field goal, and that's it. They've got to find a way to get on the board here early and break that momentum. They have got to find a way to break out and score early and stay with the Steelers.
This is the 7th play of the drive that started at the Cleveland 22. They've gone 67 yards, 3rd and 9. Garcia with time underneath. It's caught, but not a big game for Dennis Northcutt. James Ferrier in his hip pocket. Northcutt picks up 4.
You see, Jeff Garcia comes over to Cleveland. He played so long out in San Francisco in that West Coast offense. He has no problem finding the short receiver. A lot of quarterbacks, including a young one like Roethlisberger, will think, I got to get the touchdown. It's 3rd and goal. I got to get the touchdown. And Garcia knows, just take what they give you, and pretty soon everything else will take care of itself.
Brings off Phil Dawson. He's made 18 consecutive field goals. Longest active streak in the NFL. This one from 25 yards away. It's up and make it 19 in a row. So the Browns put points on the board. 3:49 to go in the first. 14-10 Pittsburgh. 14-10 Pittsburgh. There's Big Ben Roethlisberger.
You talk about a guy who came in, and this is a guy that's a blue collar. Watch it. It's Ben Roethlisberger. He is a big physical quarterback. He avoids the pressure. Bang! Takes it, and that got hit right in the chin. As you can see him pull his face mask back down, and then 2 plays later, he jumps into the end zone. And I'll tell you what, if he can do that here in Pittsburgh, this town will they'll rename it Roethlisberg instead of Pittsburgh.
That's a good one. Ben Roethlisberger from Findlay, Ohio. His father, an executive in the Honda Corporation, building parts for the cars. And this will be Coakley from the 10. Stutter steps and gets to the 26 before being stopped. An 18-yard return. Monday, Dave's all new with CSI New York's Milena Kanakaridis, plus the father-son team from American Chopper. And later this week, don't miss Billy Crystal and J-Lo. Dave's all new all this week on CBS, America's most watched network. Steel City, Pittsburgh, PA, where they love their Steelers. And right now, the Steelers playing good football against their rivals, the Cleveland Browns. 1st down and 10 at the 27. Deuce around the corner. And he's taken down. Beautiful tackle, Anthony Henry. 4th-year man out of South Florida. Now, after every play, you will see updated stats of the offensive players involved in the play. Look for the stats coming out of the score box in the upper part of the screen. Stat Tracks will keep you updated on your fantasy players throughout the game. You'll also notice Game Tracks at the bottom of the screen, which will give you updated scores and stats from games around the league. 2nd and 7 at the 30. Deuce Staley. And Staley wrestled down at the 34. Andre Davis, a gain of 4.
Yeah, once again, the Steelers going back to that fullback. You got Kreider moving around, shifting, and then handing the ball to the deep back Staley. And the problem with that is for the defense is they don't know who Kreider's going to block in front of Staley. They don't know where he's going to end up, and they don't know exactly where that ball is going to be. And it's hard to key on that running attack, particularly with a guy like Staley who can go anywhere he wants.
Staley out of the game. Heinz replaces him. Roethlisberger in the shotgun on 3rd and 3. Heinz Ward has been quiet so far. Roethlisberger over the middle. Heads wide around the left. Reaching back and making the beautiful grab. And there's a flag on the play in the backfield. And they're going to bring this one back.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Throwing a punch, number 79 of the
That's an
offense.
automatic ejection.
15 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
Jerry Austin gives him a break. Oliver Ross called for throwing a punch.
Well, I thought that when you threw a punch in the NFL, whether it lands or not, you're out.
But this is Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
That's true. You might want
They allow some of that stuff.
Jerry wants to get out of the stadium today. But that's the kind of thing that happens. I mean, you get it, these teams, it's the 103rd meeting. They know each other. Top of the screen up here, watch. There's this punch, and there's another punch. Well, look, yeah, they always get the second guy. You saw it.
So instead of 3rd and 3, it's 3rd and 18 at the 19. They need to go to the 37 for a first down. Roethlisberger, he finds Plexico Burris. A gain of 12 short of the first down. Dalen McCutcheon covering, and the Steelers have to punt it away.
And I'll tell you what, the Browns have not stopped the Steelers yet. The Steelers stopped them with that penalty just a moment ago. Randall Elk coming back with that sensational catch that didn't count. The Steelers have to feel really good right about now. All they need is the football back. And the Steelers feel like they're in total control, but the Browns hanging in just with a 4-point deficit.
Chris Gardocki, who was with Cleveland a year ago, left-footed punter, high spiraling kick. Dennis Northcutt fields it at the 29 with the nice move. Northcutt gets to the 41, but a flag on the play. A 12-yard return on a 40-yard punt by Northcutt, as Russell Stuvance brought him down.
It's going to be a hold on the return.
During the kick, holding number 34 of the receiving team, 10 yards from the spot of where the punt ended. First down.
Lewis Sanders called for the hold. Monday on CSI Miami, a body is found in a sand trap. Wait till you see how it got there. Don't miss a new episode of Monday's most watched show, CSI Miami at 10, 9 Central on CBS, America's most watched network.
I'll tell you, that last penalty, the personal foul, when both guys are swinging at each other's edge, you realize this is the 103rd time these teams have met. They see
during
each
the
other.
Regular season.
Yeah, they see each other all the time. And I'll tell you, familiarity breeds contempt. I mean, these guys do not like each other.
First down and 10 at the 21. This is Northcutt out of bounds. Right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Larry Foote pushes him out of bounds.
You said at the beginning of the show that this is a historic kind of, you know, one of the most infamous plays in football history. You watch it, Turkey Joe Jones sent Steeler quarterback Terry Bradshaw down to the turf in the 1976 installment of this long-time rivalry. And the Browns incidentally won that game, 18-16. And I'll tell you what, nobody forgets. There are people sitting in the stadium today that would like to fight over that.
That's right. Second and 10 at the 21. Suggs, he is drilled as soon as he touches the football. Clark Hagan's having a sensational season. Drops him for a 1-yard loss.
As long as Bill Cowher's been coach of the Steelers, they have been an excellent front-runner team. I mean, when they get a lead on somebody, particularly here at Heinz Field and in the old stadium, Three Rivers, when you get behind to them at home, Bill Cowher doesn't let up. He puts his foot on the gas and shifts gears. You better catch up, because this defense is really tough to play against when they've got a lead at home.
Third down and 11 at the 20. They need to go to the 31. Garcia down the field, broken up. Deshae Townsend got a hand on it. Intended for Dennis Northcutt. And Cleveland goes 3 and out. So many connections in this game as you take a look at Bill Cowher, 13 years as the head coach in Pittsburgh, from Pittsburgh, but as a player in the NFL, he played for the Browns.
He also coached for the Browns under Marty Schottenheimer in those great championship teams when they played the Denver Broncos. It seemed like on a yearly basis in the AFC Championship game and always came up short. He was on that coaching staff as well.
Frost stands at his own 5. Antoine Randall, averaging 4.4 yards per return. Here's Antoine fielding it on the run. Makes a nice move and gets inside Cleveland territory. A 38-yard punt and a 10-yard return. Eric Westmoreland with the tackle.
You know, it's always said that, you know, you get a head coach that you like, and let's see, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they pick a head coach, they tend to like him a lot. The Steelers have had, what, 2 head coaches since 1969? Bill Cowher, the dean of NFL coaches. I remember when they hired him, he was young.
Yes, he was.
I mean, now he's the dean.
He's still pretty young.
He is. Which says, I think, something sad about the state of the NFL head coaching position.
Bill Cowher, tough dude. 1st and 10 at the 49. Deuce Staley back in the game. Play action. Roethlisberger looking. Beautiful one-handed grab. Heinz Ward, who leads the AFC in receiving, picks up 15. Dalen McCutcheon with the tackle. And that's the end of the first quarter, and what a quarter it was. We'll return to Heinz Field after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Pittsburgh up by 4 as we begin the second quarter.
They're Bill Cowher since 1992 when he took over as the Steelers. This is how many coaching changes there have been around the National Football League. 115 different head coaching changes. There hasn't been one in Pittsburgh, not since 1992.
First down and 10 at the 33. Deuce Staley. And Staley bottled up. He'll lose a yard. Bentley with the tackle for the Browns.
You talk to the ownership here in Pittsburgh, they like stability. They believe that if you're going to change your head coach, it changes so many other things other than just the head coach. And they're right. Stability is the #1 factor towards consistency. And Bill Cowher and this Pittsburgh Steelers team have been consistent throughout his tenure. I mean, they were 6 years in the playoffs for the first 6 years.
And Coach Cowher being rewarded with a 4-year contract extension. 2nd and 11 at the 34. Staley squares his shoulders at some good old-fashioned Pittsburgh Steelers downhill running as he gets to the 30. And Jerome Bettis is a backup now in Pittsburgh, but he's comfortable with his role because every time they get close to the end zone, big number 36 gets into the game.
Yeah, it's funny how scoring some touchdowns keeps you happy even when you're sitting on the bench a lot. But Jerome Bettis he's been around the block. I mean, this is a guy that is well respected throughout the league. And I think it's admirable that he's, you know, sat down and said, okay, Deuce, it's your show. I'll help when I can. And Bill Cowher said he is handling like a pro. 5
rushing touchdowns for Bettis. Staley now 11 carries, 55 yards. Roethlisberger out of the gun, steps up in the pocket, throws on the run, incomplete, intended for Antoine Randall on 3rd down and 6.
And Roethlisberger back to pass, almost had Randall on the sidelines, but you'll see here, Roethlisberger, you saw him run in for the touchdown. This is a smart play by a young guy. He knows he's not going to he's not going to be able to get the first down. You see him trying to reach out there. I think that was on the outside. He was actually trying to go to the receiver behind them. But Roethlisberger staying away from the bad play. Give these guys a chance to make a play, but if it doesn't happen, hey, take the 3 points. Smart play.
Jeff Reed in to attempt a 47-yarder. It's down, up, and perfect. 17-10. Steelers on top of the Browns. 17-10, Pittsburgh with the lead. That's Charlie Batch trying to explain some things to young Ben Roethlisberger. Batch, a Pittsburgh native, played quarterback also for the Lions, injured. Reed sending it away, deep round, Andre King back deep. And this is Brown from the 1. Slips and goes down. at the 18-yard line. Almost had his head taken off by Clint Krewald. Coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report. So the Cleveland Browns decided to switch their offense during the offseason. Terry Robisky now their offensive coordinator under Butch Davis, and they want to control the football on the ground.
Sometimes that's difficult to do when you go running back by committee. They were forced to do it because of the injury to Suggs, but now he's back, and I think they've got a little bit of a problem with that.
First down and 10 at the 19. Here comes a blitz. Play action. Garcia moving out of the pocket and just fires it away.
And this, sooner or later, Jeff Garcia is going to get frustrated with having to throw every pass into the stands. He's done that a half a dozen times already here early in the second quarter. The pressure the Steelers are bringing is unbelievable. You see here 6 guys coming, and their Ferrier just jumps over the block by Green, and Garcia is running for his life.
How do you beat the blitz, Steve? If you know a team is blitzing, how do you get them caught up?
You got to see it before it happens, and the guys on the outside have to win.
Second and 10 at the 19. Here's Suggs breaking it back, and that's what the Cleveland Browns want to do. A gain of 11. Lee Suggs, a young man that missed the first 3 games with a stinger in his neck, had 82 yards rushing last week on 22 carries against the Skins.
And the offensive line washes everybody in the defense down one side. Suggs cuts right behind them, right into the secondary, and that's what he brings. I mean, this guy has got a burst. When he gets into the secondary, you kind of take a deep breath because he may go all the way.
And you may not see William Green again today. First and 10 at the 30. Play action. Garcia steps up. Garcia got it free. Suggs with the catch. What a great individual play by Jeff Garcia. Ferrier with the tackle. A gain of 7. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York for an NFL update.
All right, Gus, in Indianapolis, 2 Peyton Manning touchdowns had the Colts on a roll, but Justin Fargas from a yard out scores his first professional touchdown to cut the lead in half. The Colts lead the Raiders 14-7 in the second, guys.
You know who Justin Fargas' dad is, don't you?
Huggy Bear.
Huggy Bear.
Yeah, baby.
That's it. So I'm sure Huggy Bear is awfully happy to see his son getting into the end zone. Suggs again. And this time, Suggs taken down by Kimo von Oelhoffen.
You mentioned a moment ago when you saw Suggs bust into the secondary for Cleveland. You know, this Cleveland Brown offense is trying to find one of the two, Lee Suggs or William Green, whichever one seems to be having the hot hand. Butch Davis says you're in the game and the other one's out. Right now they're going with Suggs, and there's William Green standing there watching. And these guys know the score. That's tough to take as a running back.
You talk to the Browns players, and they will tell you that Lee Suggs right now is the better back. 3rd and 2 at the 38. Garcia rolling, tipped, incomplete. Deshae Townsend again, but a flag on the play. This may go against Pittsburgh.
This is in the secondary, so you got to think it's going to be against the defensive backfield.
Illegal contact, most likely.
You see so much of it this year in the NFL with the new emphasis on illegal contact. They're calling it so much, and these guys are still getting used to it.
There is no illegal contact because the quarterback was out of the pocket.
There you have it.
So the officials pick up the flag. Another nice job by Deshae Townsend.
And a nice job by the officials. And they had to talk it over to see where the quarterback was and plus the ball was tipped as well. Once the ball is tipped, all that stuff is out the window as well.
So Frost stands at the 22, his 3rd punt. Antoine Randall back deep. His career long, an 84-yard touchdown against St. Louis in 2003.
Ball start, 57 of the offense, 5 yards. Still 4th down.
Warwick Holdman. There you take a look at Antoine Randall. What an electric young player out of Indiana University. Late quarterback in college, but has settled into a terrific slot receiver for this Steelers team. End-over-end kick. Antoine at the 30, spinning, and is hog-tied and taken down by Bott. 37-yard punt. Big Ben Roethlisberger having a very nice first half. He'll be on offense after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Old Spice. Spice things up. IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL. And by Ford Explorer, ready for any adventure.
Welcome back to Heinz Field here in downtown Pittsburgh. Steelers with the lead. Jeff Garcia. And the Browns, though, have moved the football. So there are some positive signs for this Cleveland offense. And it's struggled the entire season. First down and 10 at the 29. Deuce Staley back in the game at tailback for Pittsburgh. Jay Reamer's maw in motion. Here's Roethlisberger to the sideline. Plexico Burress out of bounds at the 40. First down in front of Anthony Henry.
You know, last 7 times these two have gotten together, Pittsburgh has gotten the better of them. And the Browns have struggled not only against the Steelers, but other teams as well. They're getting on track under Butch Davis. Finally this year, he feels like he's got a team he likes, but you can see it's been lopsided. Although, as we said earlier, Cleveland still owns the edge in the long history of rivalry, the history of this rivalry.
Burress with 4 catches, 83 yards in the first half. First down and 10. Staley looking for a hole, and Deuce takes it to the 44. Log on to NFL.com every day and see what Bill Sims, Shannon Sharp, Boomer, and a Pro Bowl lineup of analysts have to say. It's all at NFL.com or at NFL on AOL. And it's so nice to see this Pittsburgh team running the football again. Last year, they were 31st in the NFL in rushing yards. They led the league in rushing 3 times from 94, 97, and 01. And currently, they're ranked 8th. Here's Staley straight ahead. And Deuce Staley with 64 yards rushing today. Ebenezer Ekubon with the tackle. What a great football name. Ebenezer Ekubon.
They should all be so easy. You see this Browns defense, they have been very stout against the run, but the Steelers, I mean, they're playing, the Browns defense is playing a mirror image. I mean, the 2 tough, hard-nosed units. The Steelers are going to run the football. You're not going to scare them out of it, and the Browns do it well. I mean, they just fit up in there very well. They got gashed early in the game, but they've bounced back, and Deuce Staley has had some hard-earned yards.
3rd and 3 at the 48. Roethlisberger out of the shotgun. Over the middle. Ball caught. Antoine Randall. And he takes it to the Cleveland 38-yard line. Picks up 14. Dalen McCutcheon brings him down.
You know, enough young quarterbacks just don't do this. Stand in there, step up. They don't look at the rush. They're looking at the receivers. He finds Randall. He has a couple of options. He picks the best one. And it looks so simple when you do it, but so many young quarterbacks can't do it. And Randall, after having that ball go through his hands for the interception early, has really made up for it.
First down and 10 at the 38. Staley back in the game. Heinz Ward in motion. Play action. Roethlisberger looking. Plexico Burress with the step. Knocked away. No flags. Anthony Henry covering. And it looked to me from this vantage point that Anthony Henry held him a bit.
You watch here as Roethlisberger lays this out exactly what he should do. Let Plexico Burress battle for this football. And Plexico just can't get turned around in time to do it. But neither one of those guys looked like they were expecting. You got to catch that ball high in the air. It was a little bit flat for that, but you still got to think your receiver's going to go up. You got a 6'5" receiver working against a 5'11" defensive back. It's a good decision by Roethlisberger.
2nd and 10. As a matter of fact, looked like Henry played great defense. The ball was thrown short. At the 38, Roethlisberger steps up, pumps, and this time he goes down. Orpheus Roy, the former Steeler, grabbing him, and that's a coverage sack for the Cleveland defense. Nobody open for Big Ben.
And you won't see this, but Anthony Henry on the outside at the bottom of your screen. Plexico Burress just can't get separation. You see there, Roethlisberger cannot let that ball go. His receiver's covered, and that's what's going to give a young quarterback problems. If he has time to throw it and nobody's open.
First sack of the day for the Browns defense. Brings up 3rd and 9 to the 37. They need to go to the 28 for a first down. Roethlisberger out of the gun. With time, all day to throw. Now flushed out. Throws on the run. Burrows there. What a throw. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. And this Ben Roethlisberger has some magic in that right arm.
For the second time today, Gus, the big play comes on Roethlisberger scrambling. He goes out to his right, and Plexico Burress just waits, and then breaks deep. Roethlisberger sees him and lays it up. Both times in the first half, both big plays for the Steeler offense have come on identical plays. Scrambles by Roethlisberger.
And they said this kid was the kid that wouldn't be ready to start. They said he needed to be groomed a little bit. I don't know. Ben Roethlisberger showing some athleticism and putting it right on the money. All right, Plexico Burress. He's a wise man. He knows who to sit next to.
Sit right next to the guy who threw you the pass. And on the other side, Anthony Henry, the guy who got beat for the touchdown.
D. Brown from the 6. Flag on the play. Brown gets to the 25, but let's see. A 19-yard return.
Illegal block from behind. 59 during the return. After this is to the goal. First down.
That's Kevin Bentley. There's Plexico Burress. His 12th career 100-yard game, and we're still in the first half with 7:30 to go. And we'll stay right here. Plexico Burress, Ben Roethlisberger, and what's amazing to me, Steve, is they said that Ben Roethlisberger, who now has thrown 5 touchdowns in his last 11 quarters, wasn't ready. Eli Manning was ready.
He looks ready to me.
Rivers was ready. I think the kid's all right.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. And by the coldest tasting beer in the world, Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 39.
Welcome back, where the Steelers have taken a 24-10 lead over the Browns. Browns backed up at their own 9. First and 10. Handoff, Suggs with running room, squares his shoulders and gets to the 15. And let's go back, a gain of 6, and take a look at the touchdown.
Well, as Roethlisberger comes back, he's going to try and throw the football from the pocket, feels the pressure and runs out. And watch the defenders. They both take their eyes off the receiver and break on Roethlisberger, and Plexico Burress goes the other direction. That's the reason for the touchdown. Roethlisberger's threat of running the football and undisciplined defensive backs there watching him instead of watching the receiver.
Suggs again over the left side, turns the corner and tiptoes out of bounds, picks up the first down. And Ben Roethlisberger, the first Steelers quarterback taken in the first round since Mark Malone in 1980. Here's some of the guys drafted before him. Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, neither of those guys playing. JP is out with an injury. So Ben Roethlisberger is right now the leader.
And he's playing well. I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's got a solid defense and a great running game. No question, that's what every rookie quarterback would love. But he's made the most of it, and he stayed out of the bad play.
First down and 10 of the 21. Play action, Garcia steps up with a lane. He can run it, and Jeff Garcia slides down, gets drilled at the 32, flag on the play. Troy Polamalu with a late hit after a 10-yard pickup.
You could see it coming. He slid in, and Polamalu put the last little bit on him. You can't do that. When a quarterback goes feet first, you cannot hit him. And it's an easy call.
Unnecessary roughness, number 43 of the defense, 15 yards, first down.
And you know what, Palomalu, and as bad as that sounded, Gus, he let up on it.
Yes, he did.
He let up on it.
He certainly did.
The safeties for the Steelers aren't really safeties. They're dangers. I mean, these guys are dangerous back there. They really bring it.
First down and 10 at the 46-yard line for the Browns. Here comes a blitz. They pitch it back. Garcia underneath. Ball is caught. Andre Davis down at the 30. Chad Scott brings him down after a 24-yard gain.
The Browns going to a little bit of trickery here as Garcia hands it off, then gets it back on the flea flicker. And then, as you can see, Garcia is at his best when he throws on the move.
For some reason, I think I remember seeing the Steelers do that a while back. But we'll think about it for a second. First down and 10 at the 31. Northcutt in motion. Suggs with a head of steam goes forward. Let's take a look back. Deja vu the other way.
The deja vu all over again. You watch here, Terry Bradshaw. Ooh.
And the Browns so
Watch
physical.
This.
Remember this
the
play?
Double reverse. Lynn Swan back to Bradshaw. Down the field to who else? But the, what do they call it? Benny Cunningham. And then, once more in this series, this year's edition, the Browns do it to the Steelers.
The Water Buffalo.
The Water Buffalo.
That's what they call Benny. Second and 7 at the 28. Garcia again running. Ref Garcia slides down. A gain of 10 again. And the Browns pick up a first down.
And you'll notice Palomalu let him slide, if you want to put it that way. Garcia gives him the pump fake. Well, see, there he pulls up, and that's the smart play. He never makes the same mistake twice. That's why the guy can start in the NFL. This is an aggressive young safety. Sooner or later, teams may try and take advantage of his aggression. That's what that flea flicker was all about. But nobody's done it yet.
Here's Suggs slipping. And Suggs gets inside the 20-yard line. Pittsburgh has allowed 10 scores on 10 red zone possessions this year, 6 touchdowns, 4 field goals. But you have to like how the Browns have responded after Roethlisberger threw the touchdown to Plexico Burress.
When you see they're working against this Steeler defense, I mean, this is a defense that thrives on turnovers. They're not ranked #1 in the league, but I'll tell you what, they're 3rd in the league in takeaways, and that covers a multitude of sins.
Second and 10 at the 19. Garcia scrambling, and he is cut down at the 15. 3-yard pickup. Terrific play by Kimo von Oelhoffen to just cut the legs from under Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia goes to the Pro Bowl, and for one reason, this guy doesn't take bad plays. I mean, he is what most quarterbacks or what teams wish they had. You see some quarter used to be like our own guy Dan Marino, even Boomer Esiason. Those guys go back there and they'll beat you standing in the pocket. You can't do that in the NFL now. You've got to have a guy who's a threat with his legs, and Garcia's both.
9th play of the drive as Cleveland calls a timeout, and we will stay right here. 1 timeout remaining for the Browns. Monday on CBS begins with Still Standing and the new comedy Listen Up, starring Jason Alexander. Then don't miss TV's most watched comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, and 2.5 Men, followed by Monday's #1 show, CSI Miami, plus The Late Show with David Letterman, Monday right here on CBS.
You can't really say enough about what Jeff Garcia's been able to do in this first half. He's been running around trying to do things. Look at 34 for 50. And that was last week against the Giants, and that's quite a rating. And that's since the Giants game, to correct that. And I mean, this guy today has carried this offense on his back. I mean, the running game's been there a little, but he has been the guy that's made it go.
And it's taken some time for Jeff Garcia to become comfortable in Terry Robisky's offense. Remember, he played in that West Coast offense out there in San Francisco. And this is more of a ball control situation. So Jeff They're not able to be as extemporaneous as he's been in the past. But now you see he's starting to make plays, and it's working for Cleveland. 3rd and 7 at the 16. They're 0 for 4 on 3rd down conversions. They need to go to the 9. Garcia scrambles out of the pocket. Throws on the run, incomplete. And Jeff Garcia is upset with his receiver, Dennis Northcutt.
Well, he didn't like it. He got out there, was running right at Dennis Northcutt, and Dennis Northcutt just turned around and stood there. And you see Jeff Garcia, that's a guy that just, they don't know each other. Northcutt didn't know he wanted him to run towards him. Northcutt was standing on the sidelines waiting for the ball to get there. Garcia wanted him to come back to him, and both of them are hot because they didn't know what the other wanted.
And that's the time.
It's going to take time. They're getting better, but they're not there yet.
Dawson has made 19 consecutive field goals. This one down, up, and perfect again. 2:39 to play in the second quarter. 24-13 Pittsburgh. Thursday on CBS, an unexpected twist will rock the two tribes, and when an earthquake shakes the island, it will be a true test of survival. Don't miss America's most watched reality show, Survivor, Thursday at 8/7 Central on CBS. An earthquake?
How did they do that?
And that's serious. That's not like a television earthquake.
They call that.
That's a real earthquake.
They call that production value.
Oh man, I'd be out of there with the quickness.
Vote me off. But you think the last time that Bill Cowher and this Steelers team got off to a 3-1 start, you see there, it's a lot of good things that happened. They didn't make the playoffs only once, but the rest of them, the 3-1 start bodes well for whatever team gets it. And the Steelers, when you talk about it, that's 4 times. A lot of teams would like to start off 3-1. They've done it 4 times.
With an opportunity to start 4-1 with a win today, and the Steelers up big. 24 points in the first half. Then Roethlisberger has been sensational, making plays on the run. Deuce Staley has been very effective running the football. 62 yards rushing. And Plexico Burress has over 100 receiving yards already. So the Steelers will get it back again. 2:39 to go. They have 2 timeouts remaining. And this will be Coakley inside the 20. And Coakley over the 30 up to the 32, a 16-yard return. And let's compare the quarterbacks so far. Jeff Garcia, 6 of 13, 89 yards. Big Ben Roethlisberger, 7 of 10, 150 yards.
And the interception was not his fault. It was a good throw, and it tipped past by his own receiver into the hands of a defender that, unfortunately for the Steelers team, went the other way for the touchdown. Ben Roethlisberger has played very well, and so has Garcia.
1st and 10 at the 32. Deuce Staley. And 35-yard line, make it the 36 he gets to. And it's a gain of 4. And when we talked to Bill Cowher yesterday, he was very he was funny because he actually brought up the fantasy league guys. He said everybody's upset because Deuce isn't scoring touchdowns. Well, Deuce doesn't know right now because he's new our goal line situation. So Jerome Bettis has been here for years. It's just easier for him.
And I'll tell you what, they're really good when they get down there. They're the best in the NFL at scoring touchdowns inside the red zone, and Jerome Bettis is a reason for it.
All right, we're at the 2-minute warning. 24-13 Steelers. 24-13 Pittsburgh as we close out the first half. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker. Now my normal partner, Brett Jones, was unable to be here today. His daughter was playing in a national soccer tournament down in Washington and broke her ankle, so he left Pittsburgh and went down to Washington to take care of his family. But I get my old partner back.
Thanks for calling me in.
That's right.
Nice. I appreciate the phone call. Nice game too we've got between these old rivals, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. This game has been like popping popcorn without the lid. Things are flying everywhere.
2nd and 6 at the 36. Here's the handoff again. And this time the Steelers give it to Heinz, who picks up a few. And that brings up 3rd down and 4. Coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all of the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report. Third down, 4 at the 38. They need to go to the 42 for a first down. Roethlisberger in the shotgun. Heinz Ward crosses. He's been quiet in the first half. Underneath, they find Heinz Ward for the first down. A gain of 6.
You know, Gus, we were preparing for this game, and we expected perhaps 24 points maybe total for the game. Now you've got both these clubs throwing the football around. Jeff Garcia keeping his Cleveland Browns in it. And this young quarterback, Roethlisberger, looks great.
Roethlisberger underneath, broken up, flag on the play. Jalen McCutcheon covering. Lexico Burr is the intended receiver.
Illegal contact, 25 defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
That's Chris Crocker.
And the thing about that penalty is, Gus, you're inside the 2-minute warning, and that's when the defense really says, man, we can't let them get another one before halftime. They start to get a little desperate. They reach a little harder. They hold on a little more. They chuck a little harder. They just get a little bit more desperate and play closer to the edge.
55 seconds remaining in the first half. Roethlisberger out of the shotgun. To the sideline, incomplete. The field has been interesting this afternoon. The footing has been something that Pittsburgh may need to pay attention to, because everybody's out there slipping.
Yeah, there's guys falling down every once in a while. And sometimes it's not the field, Gus. Sometimes guys just don't want to wear longer spikes. They feel comfortable in a type of shoe. Or it could be that their tape's a little off. But when you start to see more than one guy do it, sometimes we used to have a coach who would come in and say, listen, change your shoes. And sometimes at halftime, whole teams would come in and put on a whole different set of shoes so they could grip the field a little better.
2nd and 10 at the 49. Here comes a blitz. Roethlisberger gets it to the sideline. Heinz Ward there makes the catch in front of Dalen McCutcheon.
Yeah, Heinz Ward would have been better served trying to get out of bounds. He wanted to spin and get a big play out of a good play, and it cost him.
Heinz Ward, what a career this young man is having. He's warding off the competition.
I'll tell you what, second. That's some lofty company right there. Heinz Ward right behind Marvin Harrison and Randy Moss, Torrey Holt, Terrell Owens. I mean, Heinz Ward deserves to be up there. You sit down with him, he's a class guy. This is a professional. He's a tough, hard-nosed player, which I guess you got to be that when you're in Pittsburgh. I guess I don't know whether they put something in the water up here, but whoever comes and plays for a long time under this team, I think it has to do with their head coach. If you're not that kind of guy, you're not here very long.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, she may be the toast of Hollywood music and television, but you won't believe how she's treated by people who don't know who she is. Queen Latifah tells it like it is on tonight's 60 Minutes. 3rd down and 4 at the 45. I think they put it in those Pepe's cheesesteaks. We had one yesterday, and I feel tougher. Meanwhile, Antoine Randall down the sideline, out of bounds at the 30.
That gets them into field goal range. With 34 seconds left, they've got time to work it down now and take their time, maybe take a shot at the end zone. The Browns defense knows now they've got to guard against the deep pass. No more dink and dunk. They've got to guard against the deep one because they have time to get it down there and still spike it for a short field goal.
Roethlisberger is got a great rhythm going on right now. 1st down and 10 at the 30. Ben to the sideline, caught. That one caught by Lee Mays. He can't get out of bounds. With 25 seconds to go, a gain of 6. And Pittsburgh calls their 3rd and final time out of the first half.
Well, that changes things a little bit for Cleveland's defense. Now they know that the Steelers have got to throw one. They're probably going to try at least one for the end zone. They may try and just get the first down. They're trying right now. The Browns are hoping for a missed field goal. They know they're in field goal range, but they've got to hold them right here to do it. I'll tell you, you know, it's funny. You get these young quarterbacks coming out. It used to be nobody ran the shotgun. Now you get college quarterbacks coming out as rookies, and they feel very comfortable. In fact, some of them feel more comfortable standing 5 yards behind the center than they do under center. And that's something I think you get players coming in, they're more polished coming out of college. They're more ready to play. Ben Roethlisberger is a perfect example. This guy's got some poise and some skills that you just don't see usually in a young quarterback.
Out of Miami of Ohio. First down and 10 of the 24 for Roethlisberger. All day to throw underneath. That one batted down. Great job by Anthony Henry. But getting back to Ben Roethlisberger, I thought he was interesting when we talked to him yesterday. I asked him, I said, well, why didn't you go playing in Ohio to Ohio State or Michigan or Notre Dame or Penn State? He said, well, I didn't get a chance to play quarterback until my senior year. And I said, why? He said, well, the coach's son was the quarterback.
Ouch.
So I had to play wide receiver.
Wide receiver? He's a big wide out.
So
wow.
Finally, he played quarterback as a senior, and people took notice. Here's Roethlisberger again. Steps up, scrambles. He's looking. Roethlisberger underneath. Heinz Ward with the grab. And they've got to get to the line of scrimmage.
10 seconds, and here they go.
They've got time. Watch the young fella cool under pressure.
And now we've got a stoppage. No flag, but they stopped.
Prior to the snap, we got a buzz from the replay booth.
Oh, and they're going to review the catch upstairs, which is a good thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It saves them a down. We'll see what happens. You'll see, and the pass is going to come right down to the bottom of your screen. And that's Heinz Ward, and watch as the ball comes in. Now, if he maintains control, he never bobbled that. If the ball skids on the ground and he's got control of it, that's a catch. And that's hard to see from that angle. I don't think you can take it away. The ball can hit the ground if he doesn't bobble it. And that ball seemed to be very firmly grasped. You see how the ball stays firm in his grasp, right in his hands. It doesn't jar or anything right there. As it slides across the turf, he comes up with it. And watches this angle. This was put in a couple of years ago. They said the ball can touch if the guy holds on to it. You see there, he's got firm grasp of it. It's like skidding across like a locked up tire on a car.
The stoppage is for whether the pass is complete or not.
We knew that.
Yeah.
We knew that.
But, you know, the fans may not have known that.
Get to it, Jerry. Get to it, Jerry. And now, with 4 seconds left, it's the point's a little bit moot. I think you're going to go for the field goal here, no matter what. But you know, Ben Roethlisberger comes in the 2-minute, out of the shotgun. This is a team that's a power run team. I mean, they go to Deuce Staley and they hand it off. It's not something they do a lot of, this 2-minute drill. But when he came in and he needed to get it done, the Steelers are giving him enough help on the outside. Heinz Ward, Plexico Burris, and Randall L. are getting open. He's finding them, and his offensive line's giving him time.
And what I'm surprised at more than anything, and Coach Cowher talked about it yesterday in our meeting, Ben is a much better athlete than people give him credit for. I mean, he has the ability to come up with some terrific plays.
Well, at the risk of making this the Ben Roethlisberger show, he's got a lot of physical abilities, but when you get in the NFL, he can run, he can pass, he can do all that. What makes an NFL quarterback great is his decision making. And today, he hasn't made any mistakes. And he's done the right thing with the football. He's made some tough throws, some smart throws. But the thing about it is, when push comes to shove, he gives his team a chance, and he's kept them out of bad plays. And that you can't teach. I mean, it's just innate. You can train him, he can get better, but at this point, and this guy's his second or third start as an NFL quarterback. Wow. You know, third start. And as we saw it a minute ago, I don't think they're going to overturn this. I think Heinz Ward had a good grip on this football as it slid across. I don't think they're going to overturn this at all.
The receiver has the ball in two hands. He comes to the ground. The ball hits the ground, but he maintains control. Therefore, it's a catch. The clock will start when the referee's ready.
So Roethlisberger.
Hey, man, I told you.
Yeah, you did. Let's take a quick look at it.
You see, and the ball does hit the ground, but he's got a vice grip on it, and it doesn't move. And that's okay.
So the Steelers are going to take one more shot.
So because of the review process, they're going to put this ball in play, and I think the Steelers are going to have to spike it. And now Ben Roethlisberger getting the word from Jerry Austin.
And they should have to put more time on the clock, shouldn't they?
It's a clock issue. No, because the call on the field was correct.
And now timeout call by Cleveland.
Cleveland takes a timeout.
Timeout Cleveland. That's their third and final one.
And I don't know why Cleveland would take a timeout. And to me, I mean, Pittsburgh's going to go for the field goal. And at this point, there's no reason to think you're going to ice the kicker. And I think I think they took the timeout because Roethlisberger was still on the football field. They ran him out there, and Cleveland didn't want to give them a chance to throw for the end zone without having a plan. And now that the time was timeout, that's all for naught, and the Steelers send their field goal team out. See, the Steelers thought they were going to have to stop the clock because under the review, they might have started the clock at the whistle when the ball was set, and Roethlisberger would have to spike it with 4 seconds left to give his opportunity for the field goal, his team the opportunity for the field goal. All of that stopped, and the Browns saw Roethlisberger on the field and thought he was going to throw for the touchdown, or at least attempt to, so they take the timeout.
So that brings on Jeff Reed, who's already kicked one from 47 yards. This one will be from 26 yards. Chris Gardocki, the holder. Mike Schneck is the snapper. Got it up and good. The Pittsburgh Steelers have put up 27 points in the first half and head into the locker room with a 27-13 lead over their rivals. Ben Roethlisberger, what a first half, 12 of 17, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception. Butch Davis and company have some things to talk about in the locker room. We'll be back with the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. (27-13). Wow, what a first half here in Pittsburgh. Gus Johnson, along with Steve Tasker, some fireworks in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, this game came out, we thought there'd be just, maybe 2 touchdowns apiece scored, and all of a sudden it came out like this. Pittsburgh's looking really effective offensively, and Jeff Garcia is managing to keep the Browns in this.
All right, Ben Roethlisberger having a terrific first half, the rookie quarterback, throwing for close to 200 yards, and they love him here.
Now, I told you they're going to rename this town Roethlisberg instead of Pittsburgh. You see there the numbers. The passing yards for the Steelers have been the difference. Roethlisberger been able to find Plaxico Burress for a couple of big plays, the total yardage. Had 1 turnover, and that led to 7 points. So really the Browns have got to get something going offensively. Only 2 field goals to show for their offensive work.
All right, let's take a look at the first half highlights.
See Deuce Staley coming in, third play from scrimmage, pounding it in off the left side, goes for the touchdown. This is the play we just spoke about, the play that kept the Browns in it early, gave them their first touchdown, and then it's been all Steelers. Roethlisberger busting in for the touchdown here, and Plaxico Burress for the second touchdown. And that's how we get to this point. This guy, Ben Roethlisberger, has really, really played well. Has not done spectacular things except when he's left the pocket, made good decisions, and his receivers have been wide open. He's had the arms to get it there, and the big plays have come off broken plays in the passing game.
So the Browns will get the ball to start the second half. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker with you from downtown Pittsburgh. The 103rd regular season meeting between the Steelers and the Cleveland Browns.
103 meetings. Think about that, Gus.
That's right.
That's a lot of history.
And that's just during the regular season. They've also met twice in the playoffs. And this will be D. Brown. And D. Brown gets to the 30-yard line, a 15-yard return. All right, let's take a look at the fantasy notebook. So for all of you guys with Deuce Staley, you should be happy because Staley picked up a rushing touchdown. And Ben Roethlisberger, what a performance, 12 of 17, close to 200. There's the rushing. Deuce, looking for his third consecutive 100-yard game, sucks off the bench. And the receiving, Lexico Burris, big time.
And Deuce Staley finally getting the touchdown. Everybody was wondering when Jerome Bettis had all the touchdowns for the Steelers ground game, but Staley finally gets on the board.
William Green starts the second half at tailback. 1st and 10 at the 30. William Green out of the backfield with the catch. And he gets to the 31 before being knocked backwards by Joey Porter and James Ferrier, a 2-yard pickup.
It's important for the Browns to remember here, they don't have to do it all at once. The offense has to do what they do. Stay on the football field, score, and move the football and get a touchdown. No field goals anymore. They've got to get some production.
And I thought you made an interesting comment that if you want to be a ball control offense, you can't switch your running backs.
Yeah, it's tough because you need somebody to get in there and get a feel for it. Even the offensive linemen know which back is in there, and they feel differently about their blocks.
First down, make it 2nd down and 8 at the 32. Here's Garcia setting up a screen. Broken play. Garcia decides to run it, and it'll get out of bounds. Aaron Smith chasing Jeff Garcia. And that brings up the 3rd down and long.
And that was a play that was snapped off at the point of attack by the Steelers. It was going to be a screen pass after the play action. The Steelers had none of it. They expected it. Was almost they'd seen that play before. And Jeff Garcia did the right thing. Just run out of bounds. Don't take the hugely bad play. Don't try and put the ball into a crowd. Run off, take a positive, and come back on 3rd and 9.
Casey Hampton, the nose guard, goes out of the game. Travis Kershke replaces him for Pittsburgh. 3rd and 10 at the 31. Garcia in all kinds of trouble. He's sacked. Pittsburgh brought everybody, and Travis Kershke gets to him. 2nd sack of the day for the Steelers.
Well, as Jeff Garcia's played, you see here, he's got nowhere to run. I mean, he is standing hip deep in bodies after a quick 3-step drop. He has to dodge immediately. And that you just can't have as an offensive line.
Antoine Randall back deep, not a very good punt. Randall picking it up at the 35, make it the 36. A 34-yard punt by Derek Frost. And here comes Ben Roethlisberger. 27-13, Mike Logan tweaked his left hamstring, and his return is questionable. The young man played his college football right around the corner at West Virginia. Now the Steelers take over at their own 37. Deuce Staley. All kinds of running room for the Deuce as he gets close to midfield. So let's take a look at the rookie report card. Let's see what kind of grader you are.
Well, there's been a lot of rookies who come in and expect to make contributions. There's Ben Roethlisberger, who's got the B-. Kellen Winslow, who knows? That's incomplete with the injury that he suffered a couple of weeks ago. Eli Manning, he's not playing much. He's taken like 2 snaps the entire year. Who knows? Phillip Rivers has not played either. And then Roy Williams, he's playing good. This guy can get it done, and he's been asked to contribute, and he has in a big way.
Ben Roethlisberger, a B-.
Come on, man.
About?
All right, I'll change it, but
That's
I gave it to him before the game started.
Okay, we'll give you a pass on that one. Staley takes it to midfield.
I gave him the grade before. Give him an A+ for today. There you go.
Right.
How's that?
What's the cumulative grades, though, so
well,
far?
that's merely the first quarter. You know, he's in his 3rd game. 5th game of the season for the team. You know, give him a chance to get butt. I'll tell you what, early returns look very good for his election as Pittsburgh's mayor.
The renaming of the great city of Pittsburgh to Roethlisberger.
He goes the head of the class of rookies, believe me.
2nd and 7. Staley again. Watch out. Deuce on the loose. Inside the Cleveland 35, a 16-yard gain. And Deuce Staley is getting closer and closer to his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game.
You know, as a general rule, Gus, you come out after halftime and you've got a handle on what the defense is going to be doing against you. And as a defense, you do the same thing. So really, the first series after halftime for both clubs is always very important. And right now, the Steelers came out and stopped the Cleveland Browns cold, and now they've got it going on offense.
Jerome Bettis checks into the game. Deuce Staley with 96 yards rushing already. Roethlisberger to the sideline. What a throw. Heinz Ward with the catch. Out of bounds. And that's one of the hardest throws to make in pro football. That out to the sideline.
Yeah, not only was it an out to the sideline, it was from the far hash. They're on the left-hand hash. He throws this to the right-hand outside, and he's got a nice arm strength, and Heinz Ward makes a nice play for him after the catch. But you can see that ball gets there faster than the camera can follow it. Roethlisberger's got all the things you need, and you know, the thing about it, I keep harping on it, he just hasn't made a mistake.
First down and 10 after the 12-yard gain at the 21. Here's the bus. Bettis. And the bus, a fan favorite at Pittsburgh, gets inside the 15, picks up 7.
So you're the Cleveland Browns defense. You're kind of getting it handed to you a little bit. Deuce Staley's hurting you, and then all of a sudden, Jerome Bettis comes in fresh. Are you kidding me? That's all you need. You can just see the Cleveland defense is standing there with their hands on their hips saying, wait a minute.
Bettis with his longest run of the season. 7 yards. Staley back in. 2nd and 3 at the 14. Staley. Swish cheese defense for the Cleveland Browns right now. Staley gets inside the 5, and right now Pittsburgh is intent on smacking the Browns right in the mouth.
Well, we said it in the first half, Gus, when Pittsburgh gets a lead at home, forget it. They'll put Dan Kreider in there at fullback. They'll put Deuce Staley right behind him or Jerome Bettis, and they are going to pound away. And that is, with that carry, Deuce Staley goes over 100 yards for the 3rd straight week for the first time in his career. 1st and goal at the 4. Steelers smelling the end zone. And Staley gets to the 3. Bill Cowher. Experts always talk about how teams start to resemble their head coaches as the bus comes back in. And now you've seen it. Jerome Bettis coming in. The reason he comes in, a lot of people say, well, why does Deuce Staley do all that work and then Jerome Bettis come in and get a score the touchdown? The reason is it's a completely different offensive package. And Jerome Bettis is much more familiar with it than Deuce Staley is. So they give Jerome in there because they feel he won't make a mental mistake.
Bettis, the single setback. Heinz Ward in motion. Here's the bus. 6.
You know what? You never see Bill Cowher with his chin out after they score a field goal. You kick a field goal, he just kind of naps flat. But I'll tell you what, when you pound it in over the goal line, Bill Cowher is way into it, and his team is the same way. When they get you down, they hurt you.
Classic Pittsburgh football. Extra point. Up and good. Steelers go 8 plays, covering 63 yards. They held it for 441, capped off by the 3-yard touchdown from the bus and the scowl from the head man. Pittsburgh up big.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game. And by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
So Jerome Bettis with his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. A 3-yard run. Pittsburgh up 34-13. This ball takes a bounce. D. Brown picks it up. And Brown up to the 34.
Brown on the return.
A 16-yard return. The bus, all smiles. Pittsburgh leading 34-13.
watching the NFL on CBS.
The bus with a lot of gas left in the tank, 1st and 10. This time it's William Green popping it outside, gets around the corner, down the sideline and out of bounds, close to midfield. Troy Polamalu with the tackle, but Bill Cowher, tell you what, when you look at this coach, he is right out of central casting. You couldn't cast a guy that looks like a coach better.
What do you think his favorite thing is about football? Just scoring touchdowns. You just gotta, if you're a player on this Pittsburgh Steelers, you just naturally gotta love a guy like that. You can't help but play hard for him.
1st and 10 at the 47. Garcia. Flag on the play. William Green. And Green keeps his balance and gets to the 40.
I think, ironically enough, this penalty is going to be on William Green. Blocking on Joey Porter.
Holding. 77 offense. 10 yards. 15 first down.
Ross
Again, maybe
Verba.
not. And once again, the Cleveland Browns putting themselves into a hole. I think at this point, at 13, you're down by 3 touchdowns. I've been in games like this, Gus. Take it one play at a time. Try and win the play that you're going to play next. If you're the Cleveland Browns, take it one play at a time. Eat the elephant one bite at a time and just see what happens.
You were in a game like this against Houston in the playoffs one year, weren't you? 1st and a long 20 at the 37. Garcia. And that ball is caught. New England and Miami battling. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, guys. Well, the Patriots looking for win number 19 in a row. Robbie Abdullah does his part from a yard out. His first professional touchdown. And New England leads at 24-7 as they come up on 2 minutes to play in the 3rd.
All right, our score right here. 34-13. Pittsburgh. 2nd and 5 for the Browns. Here's Suggs, and Joey Porter jumps on his back and rides him to the ground. But weren't you in a big football game once upon a time where the Buffalo Bills got down by a lot of points?
32 to be exact, yeah, and that was after halftime. And you come back and win. You can do it. It can be done. You just need to keep yourself alive. Try and win every play. And the Browns have done it. They came back from that big penalty. They gave themselves a shot to convert this first down with 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 25. At least they're keeping themselves in the game.
3rd down 5 at the 48. Garcia to the sideline. Caught. North cut. Down the sideline. 1st down. A gain of 19. Peyton Manning and company taking on the Raiders. Here's Greg Gumbel.
Gus, Peyton Manning having a pretty good day. 3 touchdown passes, looking for 4 on this play. But Philip Buchanan of the Raiders says not this time. Picks it off in the end zone. It's a 21-7 Indy lead. They've gone to the 4th.
Showtime, as he affectionately calls himself, Philip Buchanan with a big play. A couple of weeks ago, he ran back a punt for a touchdown against Tampa. 1st down and 10 at the 29. Garcia dumps it off. Suggs can't make the catch. James Ferrier was coming, and Suggs took his eye off of it. Tonight on CBS, based on an Oprah Book Club selection, Kirstie Alley stars as a preacher's wife with a dark secret. While I Was Gone, a new CBS original movie tonight at 9, 8 Central on CBS. Second and 10 at the 29. William Green, flag on the play. This one blown dead. False start against the Browns.
Prior to the snap, ball snap. 77. 5 yards, just still 2nd down.
This is going to put Cleveland at 2nd and 15, and what you need to do now is just get half of it back. And you'll watch.
Ross Verba.
There's the penalty right there, and this was before the snap. But right now, the Cleveland Browns aren't trying to convert 2nd and 15. They're trying to convert 2nd and 7. Just try and get half of the yardage back and give themselves a chance on 3rd down to get the 1st down. They've got to stay on the football field.
Second down, 15 at the 34. Pittsburgh showing blitz. Garcia rolls out of the pocket, tries to set up, and dumps it incomplete. He had all kinds of pressure. Jeff Garcia dropped by Chris Hoke.
And he's not all together yet. And you'll watch as even this is a called rollout. There's no question. He meant to roll out. His called play. He's going to come out and try and hit somebody for the first down. One guy right there, and then he gets bang, and that hurts. That's what hurt him right there. And he's still not together. It's going to be interesting to see if he can come back. You see it holding his hand. His right hand is holding his left, which is a good thing for his throwing motion.
As Kelly Holcomb gets warm on the sideline.
But he took a good shot on that play, and he is not right physically.
Garcia trying to hang in there. He's 9 of 18 for 126 yards. 3rd and 15 at the 34. Garcia underneath, Northcutt again, but the speed of the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary is unmatched. Shane Townsend tracks him down, and you look at the secondary for the Steelers. Townsend, Polamalu, Hope, and Chad Scott can all run.
And this is the defensive scheme. They wanted to get the Browns to throw it short and then make the tackle. You can do that when you got a defense who are good tacklers, and that's what this Steelers defense is. If you get a guy, it's like the first guy to the ball makes the play. They don't have guys running past and missing tackles. That's a good defense, and that's what the Steelers did.
Brings on Phil Dawson. He's been good from 25 and 34 yards out. This from 46. And it's good. Phil Dawson having an excellent season. 21 straight. 4:42 to go in the third quarter. 34-16 Pittsburgh.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Burger King, who remind you to have it your way. And by Wachovia Securities. Together, we can achieve uncommon results.
Welcome back to Heinz Field here in Pittsburgh. Jeff Garcia getting worked on the Cleveland sideline. Looks like his left thumb may have been jammed. Kelly Holcomb is ready. Here come the Steelers. Antoine Randall fumbling it at the goal line, picks it up. And Antoine Randall out of bounds. Flag on the play. Maybe a late hit at the 16.
During the run back, holding 35 of the receiving team. Half a distance to the goal. First down.
That's Dan Kreider. So this is what you want if you're Cleveland. You're backing up the Pittsburgh Steelers. Make a play with the long field and hopefully force them to punt it away. One of the great football cities in America, Pittsburgh, PA, and the hometown team up big 34-16. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker. Steelers have it 1st and 10 at their own 8. Staley. And Staley takes Andre Davis for a ride and gets to the 12. All right, here's a question for you. Who is the best running back in the AFC this year? Chris Brown from Tennessee, Corey Dillon with the Patriots, Priest Holmes, the Chiefs, Edgerrin James, the Colts, Jamal Lewis, Curtis Martin, or LT? Cast your vote at NFL.com.
There's my vote, Gus. Curtis Martin. He's done it better longer than anybody. I mean, that guy is Mr. Consistent, and he's on a 3-0 team.
Predicted that he'd rush for 1,500 yards this year. Off to a great start. 2nd and 6. Staley again. And Staley, another first down. He's over 100 yards. Picks up 7. Andre Davis makes the tackle. And, you know, I'm looking at the Browns, and as a novice, not an expert like my partner here,
like I'm supposed to be.
You just don't see them offensively. Here's my question. It doesn't seem like they know what they want to do. Do they want to run the ball? Do they want to get Jeff Garcia out and scrambling around? What's going on in your opinion?
Well, they're getting beat up front on both sides of the ball. You see here they have an 8-man front up, and they're getting beat physically in the run game by the Steelers.
Bettis in the game, and Bettis gets to the 22.
Yeah, they're just getting beat up physically, and right now they're asking Jeff Garcia to run around, try and make some plays in the passing game because the Pittsburgh Steelers won't let him run the football at all. And right now the Steelers they got a first down a moment ago on 3 straight runs. You can't win games if you're giving first downs up on 3 straight runs, and Jeff Garcia has done all he could to keep the Browns in it, but he has got to have some help outside.
And the Browns are without the services of Gerard Warren, who's out with the pec muscle injury, and Courtney Brown, who's out for the year with a foot injury. Bettis again, and Bettis wrestled down, may have lost a yard. Oakland, Indianapolis still battling. Here's Greg Gumbel.
Hey, Gus, had Indy probably in an effort to prove that they can also run for scores. Edgerrin James from a yard out to stretch the Colts lead to 28-7. They are into the 4th quarter in Indianapolis, Gus.
All right, Edgerrin playing with that tender hamstring as well.
I want to change my vote. It's not Curtis Martinmore, it's Edgerrin James in the poll.
Oh, wait a minute. LaDainian Tomlinson plays later. 3rd down and 5 at the 24. Cleveland desperately needs to get off the field. Here's a chance. Roethlisberger sets up a screen, shovels it off, and he slips and goes down at the 21. What a play. This man is an athlete. Ben Roethlisberger, only a rookie. But we told you about the field earlier.
Yeah, how many times have you seen a guy try and do this and not be able to pull it off? Roethlisberger, that was a great pitch, right on the money. I mean, it was right there. Vernon Haynes standing there waiting for it, and you mentioned it, Gus, the field let him down. He slipped and went down. That was going for a first down.
So the Browns force the Steelers to punt. Gardocki, a wobbler. Northcutt lets it take a bounce, and it takes a Steelers bounce. You can't have that on special teams. Chris Gardocki ends up punting at 51 yards.
Gus, we did a study when I was playing special teams back in the day. Whenever a punt returner doesn't field the football, you lose an average of 16 yards every punt, and you gotta catch it.
Tonight on CBS, were the police wrong when they ruled a woman's death an accident 60 years ago? Find out on a new episode of Cold Case tonight at 8/7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. First and 10 at the 26. Suggs, and he's taken down from behind. All right, let's take a look at the punt and see if you can count off the yardage.
Well, it's right where it lands, and you'll see it'll come up. Northcutt will come up, and he just doesn't want to gamble. And the ball lands at about the 40-yard line and ends up all the way down after taking a sideways bounce.
That's about 14 right there.
That's 14 right there, and it could have been worse because it took bounce sideways. And that's just something that you have to learn as a returner. You got to have a guy that can run, and I can understand what he was thinking. You don't want to dive in and try and catch it, because if you mishandle it, you turn the ball back over to the Steelers.
And there's an injured player on the field. It's Joaquin Gonzalez, third-year man out of Miami, on the field. And Steve, everybody knows, and if you don't know, we'll tell you right now, you were one of the great special teams players in the history of pro football.
I don't know whether
how many Pro Bowls did you go to?
Well, 7.
Okay.
And I deserve to go to a couple of them too. I mean, you know,
you ran back a couple of punts as well, right?
Once in a while. Joaquin Gonzalez in for Ryan Tucker, and you see there.
And you still look like some of the current players on the field. Yeah. Steve, who's that guy?
That's right.
Is that your twin? Separated at birth.
Twin sons of different mothers, I guess. One of those guys is really good looking. Unfortunately, the good looking one's got a uniform. Got a uniform on.
Second and 7 at the 29. Garcia hit as he throws. Joey Porter pressuring him again. And that brings up 3rd and 7.
And Garcia heads up enough, and he's got no chance. Joey Porter on the up top goes right past the
Ross Verba.
And You know, Joey Porter's a fast speed rusher, and they run that 3-4 defense because they have such a good linebacking core. They want to give those guys a chance to rush the passer. And more of the pass rushers on the outside in the NFL are undersized guys who just outrun those big tackles.
3rd down, 7. Browns are 1 of 8 on 3rd down conversions, and Jeff Garcia calls a timeout. First timeout called by Cleveland in the 2nd half. Now, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS features doubleheader excitement. First, the Chargers take on the Falcons, or the Chiefs tangle with the Jaguars. Then the Steelers battle the Cowboys, or the Broncos visit the Raiders. Check local listings beginning with Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today.
And you and your partner, Brent, will be out in San Diego for Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons.
Actually, we'll be in Atlanta.
In Atlanta for
yes. Where will you be?
I will be in Buffalo for the Buffalo-Miami game.
So that's a home game for you.
Yes, it is.
Third down, 7. Joaquin Gonzalez back in the game at a right tackle for the Browns. Here comes a corner blitz. They pick it up. Polamalu knocks it away. Troy Polamalu, the safety, knocking it away, and the Browns have to punt.
And this is why the Steelers are so good. You've got a safety in coverage against what you would like to say is your #1 guy. Andre Davis, a guy who's a good receiver, an outside receiver. If he can be covered by a safety, something's wrong. And yet, Polamalu got it done.
Wobbly kick. Antoine Randall signals for the fair catch, and it's fair caught at the 29. And remember, a couple of years ago, teams were spreading the Steelers out and throwing 40 or 50 times. Oakland did it, and I think that was the first team that really exploited the Steelers. But they've really improved their team speed, especially in the secondary, and that's not happening.
And it starts there with Polamalu. And those guys aren't just fat. They're good athletes. They have noses for the ball. And the Steelers have always been a team defensively about making plays. Yeah, they got cover guys, but they go after the football like nobody else. And Polamalu is aggressive back there, and he gives them a whole attitude in the secondary that is really, really conducive to getting turnovers.
First down and 10 at the 30. Roethlisberger looks backside. Plexico Burress caught at the 45, a 16-yard gain. Anthony Henry has been abused today by Plexico as Plex grabs his hamstring. 6 catches, 136 yards, and a touchdown for Plexico Burress.
And Roethlisberger threw that one behind Plex, and he came back and got it, battled for the football, and made the play.
34-16, that's the end of the quarter. We'll return to Heinz Field after this message and a word from your local station. As we start the 4th quarter, Pittsburgh up 34-16. Steelers with the football at their own 46-yard line. Young Ben Roethlisberger has looked more like Terry Bradshaw this afternoon. Here's Bettis, and he crosses his way to the 50-yard line.
This is what you love to see. The guy gets better as the game goes along. In the 4th quarter, he's got 118 rating. You know, we spoke to Bill Cowher. He said, you know, Tommy Maddox is still a month away. You know what? It's not going to matter because this guy's not coming out of the game.
And that is the reality of it. 199 yards in the first half, 27 in the second half. The combination of Plexico Burress and Heinz Ward, only 6 catches in 2 games against Cleveland last year. 11 catches, 192 yards, a touchdown today. Bettis. Now don't forget, folks, coming up on the Subway postgame show, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Jerome Bettis, first 4 games, 18 carries, 22 yards, 5 touchdowns today, 6 carries, 21 yards.
We've spoken a little bit about how the Browns have done running back by committee. Now Heinz is in the backfield with Staley, Bettis, all of them getting some time.
Roethlisberger underneath, close to a first down. Now let's go back. The Browns have lost 6 of their last 7 to the Steelers. The one win was in Pittsburgh last season, and this one wasn't pretty. Andre Davis caught a short touchdown early, and Tim Couch later found the end zone himself. When it was all over, Cleveland pounded the Steelers here at Heinz Field 33-13. And I'm sure that's a memory that coming into this game was very fresh in the minds of Pittsburgh's players and fans.
We said earlier in this the history of this rivalry, a lot of things come up. That's one of the last memories that these fans have, and also the Steelers. I mean, they wanted to avenge that loss. The Steelers, Bill Cowher helping them call that right out on the football field. And I'll tell you, this game is so stressful. We talked to Butch Davis, says it's a 7-day battle for sanity, these guys. And right now, Cowher, has no stress. There's a nice day at the office for Bill Cowher.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. Next week, the Steelers are at Dallas, followed by a game right here against New England. 1st and 10 at the 44. The bus stacked up, and he will lose a yard on the play. Ebenezer Ekubon in on the tackle.
And you come in now, if you're Jerome Bettis, and they're putting you in the game late. Really, you're running against a 9-man front. The Cleveland Browns know the Steelers are just killing the clock. They don't want to do anything spectacular, and the Browns have got everybody and their uncle and cousins up at the line of scrimmage to stop the run. And Jerome Bettis, let's face it, he's built for it. I mean, they hand him the football, and it's like the saying goes, they're tackling the bus.
2nd and 11 at the 45. Draw play, Bettis. And Jerome gets to the 44. Kennard Lang with the stop.
And this is when it gets dangerous for the Steelers at this point, because they get nothing on 1st and 2nd, and a couple of times in a row they've been now 3rd and 8, now 3rd and 10 once again. Roethlisberger, this is when you become a team that is really in control. When you can convert on these kind of 3rd downs, you really, really have taken a step forward, and that really says something right there.
3rd down and 10 at the 44. They need to go to the 34 for 1st down. Roethlisberger takes the low snap, sets up deep in the pocket, dancing. Roethlisberger wants to run it. How about this? This kid can play.
No, they didn't give him the spot, Gus. He came up short of the 1st down. He had the 1st down and just slid a little too quick. Watch here. Now this might be one you throw the flag on if you're Bill Cowher. Watch where he goes down. It's where the ball is when his knee goes down, not where his body is. He has to reach. We didn't get a chance to finish it up, but they were going to spike it.
Cleveland calls a timeout.
Didn't give him the 1st down. You'll see here is Ben Roethlisberger. Watch where his right knee goes down. His knee is down just past the 45, but the ball is behind his knee. So they spotted it just at the 45-yard line, and he had to get to the, I'm sorry, the 35-yard line, that is, and he had to get to the 34.
So on 4th down and inches, the Steelers going for it.
They may be doing it.
Bettis.
He didn't get it.
So I don't think he got it.
He did not get it. And it wasn't close, Gus. It was not close. He did not get it.
So the Browns defense holds as Alvin McKinley plugs up the hole and brings down the bus. 10:50 to go in the 4th quarter. 34-16 Pittsburgh. Cleveland with the ball.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by new Campbell's Chunky Chili, mouthwatering chili that's worthy of any tailgate party. IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Welcome back. The Browns with the football at their own 35 after the defense holds on 4th down. Jeff Garcia in the shotgun. Underneath finds Suggs. Suggs breaks it back, and Suggs gets over the 45 to the 47. Joey Porter with the tackle after a 13-yard pickup.
As the Browns go no huddle here, they're in the hurry-up offense. I think now if they can get past midfield, they're in 4-down territory the rest of the game. They got to go for it on every 4th down, stay on the field. There are 3 scores out in this game, and that's what they got to do.
Flag on the play, and that looks like Joaquin Gonzalez.
73 offense, 5 yards. Still 1st down.
And as remote as it seems, Gus, you know, the Browns are thinking touchdown, extra point, then touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal to get back in this game, which is why they're in no huddle, and which is now probably why they're going to be in 4-down territory and go for it with every play. There's no use in holding back. If you want to give yourself a chance, go for it.
Garcia looking down the field. He's got a man. Over the shoulder catch. Davis, touchdown. No, he steps out of bounds inside the 10. Andre Davis. And it's a gain of 50 yards.
Right at the top, he's going to come off, and you'll watch here, give him a little wiggle, and then just moves to the inside. Garcia throws it up, working against Scott. Scott just misses, and you talk about a game of inches, Gus. Chad Scott had a finger on that pass and still got it completed over his head.
The Browns refusing to quit. Garcia again. Underneath, dropped by Northcutt.
You got to make that play, Gus. You got to make that play.
Dennis Northcutt hasn't had the best season or the best game today. He and his quarterback haven't been on the same page, but he has the ability to always make a big play. This kid is a talented, talented player. 2nd and goal at the 7. Suggs slips and goes down at the 6.
You know, we spoke a little bit about some of the problems the Cleveland Browns offense has had. Some of it is because Garcia is new. He's learning a new offense, and he doesn't know the guys he's playing with. This has nothing to do with that. Suggs just slips, goes down. The play with Northcutt a moment ago, that has nothing to do with inexperience. That's just a drop pass, a slip, and that's why you struggle offensively. Plays like that add up.
3rd down goal at the 7. And Jeff Garcia calls their final timeout with 8:51 to go in the 4th quarter. The Browns are disorganized. Butch Davis and the Browns faced with a 3rd and goal. At the Pittsburgh 7. They need 6 desperately. Jeff Garcia under center. Here comes the blitz. Garcia steps up in the end zone. Touchdown. Beautifully done. Andre Davis. And that's what makes Jeff Garcia a Pro Bowler.
You're exactly right, Gus. Jeff Garcia has tried to do everything today for the Cleveland Browns, and right here he beats the blitz by himself. He's got a guy coming untouched, makes him miss, steps up and guns it to the back of the end zone. Sensational play by Jeff Garcia.
First receiving touchdown of the year for Andre Davis. Extra point is good. 8:44 to go. Now you start doing the math. 34-23. Back to Pittsburgh after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. And by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
The Cleveland Browns refuse to quit. They go 5 plays, 65 yards. The key play, a 50-yard completion from Jeff Garcia to Andre Davis. And
yeah, you'd think now that the Steelers are anticipating an onside kick, and you see
Jerry Rosberg, the special teams coach,
talking to Butch Davis, and they're covering, they're whispering over there like something's going on. The Steelers sense it. They've got their hands team out there.
Browns pop it high in the air. Coakley gets to the 30-yard line. So let's go back and talk about the keys that we established at the beginning of the game.
Well, the first one was bend but don't break. Ben Roethlisberger had to be steady. Didn't have to be spectacular. He was better than steady. The guy played a really solid, good football game. Then Deuce Staley had to be a factor. They wanted to feed him the ball, get him going. He rushed for over 100 yards today. And for the Browns, they needed Suggs to be a contributor. The Steelers have stopped the Browns running game cold. That's how we got to this point.
First down and 10 at the 30. The Browns defense should be rejuvenated as the Steelers give it to Jerome Bettis. Browns out of timeouts. No timeouts remaining for the Cleveland Browns. The clock will stop at the 2-minute warning. Get complete recap from all of today's NFL games, plus insight from CBS Sports Line's NFL experts, only at CBSSportsLine.com.
You get into this part of the game, Gus, and you know as an offense for the Steelers, all you got to do is make first downs and you're going to win the game. And Cleveland knows they need the football.
2nd and 7. Bettis. And Bettis gets to the 38. A 6-yard gain. Brings up 3rd down and about 1.5.
There's Deuce Staley on the sidelines. And it doesn't look like he's interested in going back in. And they've obviously made the decision. They're going to go with Jerome Bettis for the remainder of this drive anyway. Probably the rest of the game.
Remember, Deuce Staley has had his toenail removed, and he's been in some pain. That big toe has caused him some problems. 3rd down and 1. Biggest play for the defense right now of this game. Here's the pitch. Bettis. And he goes down. Terrific. Terrific play by Alvin McKinley. What a play by 97, the 5th-year man out of Mississippi State.
Watch the defensive line of the Browns come right down. McKinley comes right down the line of scrimmage, and Bettis goes nowhere. Stuffed in the hole for a yard loss on the play, and that's exactly a 2-yard loss, exactly what Cleveland wanted to do. They're hanging tough with the Steelers late in the game, and you got to wonder now, Gus, did the Steelers turn it off just a hair too quick?
Gardocki, who's been punting the ball short as of late, his hang time hasn't been great. This one, a line drive. Northcutt will get a chance from the 12. Makes the first man miss. Northcutt over the 20, up to the 22. A 49-yard punt and a 10-yard return. Alvin McKinley. What a nice play on defense.
Watch there as he goes by. Cheaty goes by, comes back and makes the tackle. You love that. Only special teams. Let me just tell you something right now. Only special teams players make that kind of play. He goes by him, lands on his face, scrapes the ground with his face mask, gets up, and still makes the play.
Cheaty Awuma.
I love that. I love that.
The Browns take over at their own 23. Jeff Garcia has 11 career fourth-quarter comebacks, including last week. Underneath that one, underthrown, intended for Quincy Morgan. Don't forget, tonight on CBS, we start with 60 Minutes, followed by Cold Case, and then the CBS Sunday movie, While I Was Gone, starring Kirstie Alley. It's the world premiere tonight on CBS. Jeff Garcia, 11 career fourth-quarter comebacks last week versus Joe Gibbs' Washington Redskins. 2nd and 10 at the 23. A lot of time left in this game. Browns need to move the ball. Garcia to the sideline. Northcutt with the catch, the 25. He stays in bounds. James Ferrier brings down Dennis Northcutt.
You know, one thing I see here late in the game, particularly from the Cleveland receivers, when they get down, if the receivers are feeling their coverage, they're stopping. They're not giving Jeff Garcia a chance to find them after the play is busted. They're kind of stopping. They're not staying in the play.
Garcia again. Underneath. Andre Davis on 3rd and 6 comes up short. A gain of 4. No timeouts for the Browns. They'll have to go for it on 4th down.
Jeff Garcia is a guy who's come in here and he's attempting by himself, it looks like today, to raise the level of this offense. They've struggled for the first month of the season, but if they all play like Garcia is, they're going to get better.
The fans rise to their feet here in Pittsburgh. 4th down and 2. Garcia in trouble. Garcia running. Jeff Garcia. First down, Cleveland, and it gets popped. No flags on the play. Chris Hope leveled it.
The bench wants a penalty, but Garcia was still in bounds. He was going in head first. And I don't care if you're a quarterback or the head coach, if you got the ball and you're running forward, you're fair game. He's in bounds, and watch, even his last step, he stepped in bounds, and that's a good shot. They may not like it over there, but that was clean.
A 6-yard pickup on 4th down and 2 for Garcia, and the Browns are still alive at the 37. Garcia down the sideline for Morgan. Morgan incomplete, no flag. Coakley covering Quincy Morgan.
And one concern you have with a quarterback like Garcia is, one concern you have is plays like that. If you got a quarterback that can run, sooner or later he's going to take a hard shot. And it may be the last chance he gets to play. And you saw him cut a swath of destruction. He got hit and then went into his own bench. He looked like a lawnmower going through the weeds.
2nd down and 10. 4:40 to go. Browns out of timeouts. Garcia in trouble. Throws. Deshae Townsend has been in the Cleveland backfield all day. Lined up on the corner and came in and disrupted the pass.
I like this about the Steelers. So many teams refuse to blitz in crucial situations. That's how fast it happened. So many teams are so afraid to put pressure late in the game with a lead. They go into that safety defense and they give up big chunks of yardage. I love the fact the Steelers are still attacking at this point of the game.
3rd and 10 at the 37. Browns are 2 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. Here comes the blitz again. Jeff Garcia to the sideline. Incomplete. Clock stops at 4:30. Butch Davis.
And a late flag.
And it's a holding call against Pittsburgh, I believe.
Personal foul, a blow to the face, number 28 of the defense. 15 yards,
wow.
Automatic first down.
Chris Hope. And that will allow the Browns to pick up a first down and pick up yardage. Now they'll line up inside Pittsburgh territory.
And it looked like the Steelers had this game in hand handily, and yet the Browns wouldn't go away. And now the Steelers are starting to get a little bit sloppy.
1st and 10 at the Pittsburgh 48. Garcia fumbles the snap. And the Steelers have it. Clark Higgins.
So much for sloppy.
The first turnover for the Browns today. Wow.
And I said earlier in the game, defense is about 2 things in the NFL: getting after the quarterback and getting turnovers, and the Steelers do both. That's Jeff Garcia. The one glaring mistake he's made all day is snap right in his face mask, and he can't handle it, and that may be it. That's unfortunate, as well as he's played.
They got a break on the penalty, but the Browns were unable to take advantage. Here's Bettis. Gets to the 40, and Jerome Bettis fighting for yards. One thing about the Steelers, they lead the AFC and are tied for 3rd in the NFL with 11 takeaways. With that one, make it 12. 6 interceptions, 6 fumble recoveries.
Well, you know how it feels. You think they might have a chance, and look at this.
That's Chris Hope after picking up the first personal foul.
That's after the personal foul. You don't want to see that if you're a player.
Pittsburgh with 400 yards in total offense. Cleveland has 292. Venice again. And all year long, the Steelers have been sensational at taking the football away.
This is the defense that thrives on it. They're a pressure-packed defense. They get their head on the football. They come at the quarterback. They have a secondary that absolutely has a nose for the ball. And they have an attitude, Gus, and it starts with that guy.
3rd down and 3 at the 36. Heinz Ward in motion. And a whistle.
I like the fact, Gus, that the Steelers are putting Jerome Bettis in the ball game and letting them run.
Why?
False start, 79 offense, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
Oliver Ross.
Because Deuce Staley has become a big part of what this team is all about. Make sure he's going to be there next week.
There you go.
And you know Jerome Bettis can come in and give you some good yardage, some solid work in the 4th quarter. 14 rushes already for 35 yards. Got a TD also. Let that guy right there be ready for next week.
3rd down and 8 at the 41. Draw play. Haynes. And Ron Haynes goes down. So Coach Bill Cowher ripped Chris Hope, and this is what the assistant comes and does.
It's good cop, bad cop. Bill Cowher comes in and really ripped him for getting that personal foul. And then Perry, the secondary coach, comes over and pats him on the head and said, you know, did you ask him if he made sure he learned his lesson? And believe me, Chris Hope won't forget Bill Cowher meeting him halfway off the field.
Darren Perry, the secondary coach, there he is. Has to build his guys up.
Well, you know, coaches, all they are, they're teachers, and they're teaching guys who are grown men how to play football better, and they motivate them, they chastise them, they punish them, they reward them. Their parents, their best friends, their mentors, and they're also lion tamers. And Bill Cowher is the one holding the whip.
Now don't forget, next Saturday our doubleheader starts with the matchup with very special meaning Notre Dame and Navy. Also Arkansas at number 6 Auburn. Matt Jones leads the Razorbacks against Cadillac Williams and the Tigers. And let's take a look at the game summary.
Yeah, and there you see it. I think the big difference is the 3rd down conversion. Steelers 7 of 13. The Browns 2 of 11, and that leads to all these yards for the Steelers. They just stayed on the football field and controlled the game.
So Pittsburgh will punt it away. Gardocki at the 48. High wobbly kick. Northcutt allows it to go over his head, and it's in the end zone. A 38-yard punt, but a net of 18 yards. So here comes Jeff Garcia back in the game. 34-23.
Garcia, he took that shot on his left hand. He's got a glove over it now. He had it. We saw it wrapped earlier and heavily taped. Maybe that played a factor in that last mishandled snap. He can't grip with his thumb, so he couldn't handle the snap. But nevertheless, it's nobody's fault but his own. I mean, he's got to make that play, hurt or not.
Browns have it at their own 20. The clock will stop with a 2-minute warning. Cleveland out of timeouts. Garcia scrambling. And Garcia goes down the sideline. Gets out of bounds. Pushed out of bounds. after picking up 13. Clark Hagan's pushing him out of bounds with 1:53 remaining. One of the great rivalries in the National Football League. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns have battled, and with 1:53 left, the Browns refuse to die. And the rivalry continues. There's Bill Cowher, 34-23. Butch Davis on the other sideline. Jeff Garcia's played his heart out today. Here's Garcia back over the middle, incomplete, intended for Suggs. Polamalu makes the tackle.
Right now, Gus, the Cleveland Browns are trying to look a little bit ahead towards next week. They got to do some things offensively to finish this game out. Try and get a big play in the passing game. Just finish out this game strong. It's going to say a lot about their character, and Butch Davis wants guys on his team who can face this kind of adversity, because every team will.
Next week they're at home to take on the Bengals. Garcia lost it in the air, and it's incomplete. Intended for Andre Davis, who lost his footing.
Coverage by Chris Hope and Chad Scott.
1:39 remaining in the fourth quarter, with the Pittsburgh Steelers leading their rivals, the Cleveland Browns, 34-23. And the Steelers have gotten great performances from their rookie quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger has thrown for 231 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Deuce Staley has recorded his third consecutive 100-yard game with 117 yards rushing. Garcia to the sideline. That one sails, and it's incomplete. Intended for Andre King. And that makes it 4th down and 10 at the 33. Browns out of timeouts. They cannot stop the clock.
In a game that has gone mostly in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the one bright spot for the Browns has been Jeff Garcia. He has stayed alive, made plays when he needed to, tried to keep his club in it. The Steelers have brought all kinds of pressure to bear on him, and he's held up for the most part, but he has not been able to convert enough third downs to keep them on the field to be effective.
4th down and 10 at the 33. Garcia, last chance to dance, dumps it off. Suggs, and that'll do it. Suggs dropped, and the Browns turn it over on downs. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all of the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. You know what? Like you said, I think the Browns showed some good signs. Jeff Garcia is the quarterback that will lead this team, but I think philosophically this Browns football team has to decide what they want to do. Do they want William Green to run the football? Do they want Suggs to run the football? And go with one guy from there.
Well, unfortunately today they didn't have enough success in the running game to find out what they wanted to do. They're going to have to be better up front to be a power running game. Right now, Suggs and William Green, neither one of them was productive enough to make this club a power team.
But since they've changed offensive philosophies and tried to become a power running game, the last couple of years they were great at throwing the ball down the field to some of these talented receivers. Andre Davis, Quincy Morgan, Dennis Northcutt, Andre King. But now that they're a power running game or a power running team, that aspect of their game, throwing the ball downfield, is almost left them.
Yeah, Jeff Garcia dropped back to throw days and had a lot of times where he had nobody to throw to. And that's going to have to change for Cleveland to get out of this offensive funk they're in.
On the other sideline, Ben Roethlisberger improves to 3-0 as a starter. He's only a rookie, the first rookie quarterback to win the first 3 games in a while. And the Pittsburgh Steelers now have complete control of the division, 4-1, and in the top spot in the AFC North.
Pittsburgh Steelers, thank you for coming. Please drive safely on your way home.
You know, you look at this Steelers team, you know they're up for something better later in this year.
Coming up next, the Subway postgame show. For Steve Tasker, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long. Our final, Pittsburgh 34, Cleveland 23. A huge day for the rookie, and also the deuce ran wild.